Hello and welcome to another episode of Solo Inter podcast. With me always is Parmeshwar and Manish. And what a win it was! Like I was pessimistic and I said 3-3 draw, but at least Inter scored 3 goals and Milan, like we just blocked them. Like initially they had chances, or defense was a bit in disarray, but we held on, totally dominated. Could have been 6-1, 7-1 if all shots had gone in. And Parmeshwar, coming to you first, like what's the feeling right now? Top of the table, 4 point lead, and title shot?
Yeah, first of all, as you said, Gautam, what a victory! I didn't see that coming. Since the time we did the preview, all of us thought, like it'll be if we win, it'll be like a narrow win, like a 2-1, or as you said, you were so skeptical that you went for like a 3-3 draw. But but man, what a performance! Like it was perfect on all levels. Yeah, like we started the match so well. Like we got our first goal in like the first 5 minutes, and in like when Lukaku took that shot, I thought, what is he doing? Why didn't you pass it to Lautaro Martinez? But then that cross, man, that curling cross. I know. Kier should have probably marked Lautaro better, but again, good movement, good goal. And then we looked so comfortable, in our play in general. Every time we passed out from the back, the midfield, the space we found in midfield, to counter them and to just build all our plays. It was just amazing. I was just checking the stat in the first half, like the amount of chances we created, the big chances, it was just way too many. And it was only in the last, let's say, 10, 12, 15 minutes that Milan came back in it, that Theo Hernandez chance, that Handanovic was a bit rooted, but I can't really blame him for that because I don't think he would have reached it anyways. So I don't think there's a point of, diving for it anyways. But yeah, they did look like they would come back in it, like Ibrahimovic also had a chance, but Handanovic kept him at bay. And there was this one nervy moment where, De Vrij was completely lost, and then again Ibrahimovic went for like a back heel, and we know he can score the crazy goals like that. But overall, it was such a satisfying display because it didn't only show that we can create a lot, we can score those many goals, but we sat back really well in my opinion in the second half when Milan actually piled the pressure on us. I know many people thought we'll probably concede, but the way we closed the space in the middle in my opinion was impressive, and of course that was majorly aided by the fact that Handanovic made like three absolutely world class saves. First Ibrahimovic header from a corner, then was a cross which Hakimi, I don't know why Hakimi was marking Ibrahimovic of all people. Like Hakimi was so weak that he actually ended up falling inside the net, if you watch that again. So I don't know why he was working with, again, kudos to Handanovic. And then there was this moment where Ibra took a shot and De Vrij and Brozovic were lost, and then Tonali comes in and blasts one in, and then Handanovic, no words, man. He was too good. He was too good. Like, it, no words to say anymore. Like, he was on his game. And after that, it was, I think, you could, to an extent, I will admit that for Milan, fatigue did come into play because, of course, they had their midweek game. But this is a part and parcel of the game, Gotham. It's like if we had been in the Europa League as well, we would have had a fatigue team as well, right? But man, what a goal! The second goal clearly showed, in my opinion, Conte's principles, what he's been trying to work on. We started from the back. Barella gives a cross to Lukaku. Lukaku's hold-up play is elite. He passes it to Hakimi, who actually resists Tonali, goes, and Eriksen, he could have very well lost the ball, but he kept his cool. He passes it to Perisic, and how good was Perisic yesterday? For me, he was one of the one of the man of the matches, at least, like with Handanovic. We can touch upon it later, but he was, how good was he? And he played that smart pass to Lautaro, who usually doesn't keep his cool, but kept his cool. And
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to say about Lukaku's goal in a good way because my word, what a goal, man! Like he just left Romagnoli for dead. Like everyone was like, pass it to Hakimi, pass it to Hakimi. But this guy, the level of confidence he has, just runs past, he beats Romagnoli for pace. And when you actually see the finish from a certain angle, it was such a difficult shot to actually squeeze in, because we all know Donnarumma is a world-class keeper. He can save all that on his day. It's amazing, man. Just I have no words to say. Like top of the table, I'm glad there's a 4 point gap. But of course, that was that. We celebrated. Of course, there are a lot of things to look forward to. But for the time being, I'm really happy that we are top of the table, and of course, there are 15 more finals to play. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Manish, like Parmeshwar said, tiredness came into Milan's picture because they play in the Europa as well. And this was a Conte masterclass, I feel. I mean, totally outclassed Pioli and showed that he's the guy. Like, you detract him, you say, like, okay, he's not a good coach, he's washed out and all that, but he still delivers now. And Do you think like us being out of Europe and playing just Serie A now, out of Copa, out of Europe, has helped Conte? And this is like his strength now. He plays only Serie A, and with the team at his disposal, the training time and the tactics which he can manage, the squad which he can manage. Do you think like now it's we just steamroll through the league?
First of all, Gautam, I would like to say, woohoo, top of the table, finally. It was quite some time. Convincingly, we won a match. It's been about time, yeah, like no heart runs. Normally, Milan derby, no matter how poor Milan play, they always the score is like 3-2, 2-1, and last minute, some D'Ambrosio goal line clearance. All this time, we skipped it away. It was a quite comfortable match to watch and more and more exciting because I think everybody and how good was Inter? How good was it? It was like watching something which is like a machine. Inter played like a machine. Everybody did their work perfectly. Well, well-oiled machine where everything just works to perfection. Every single aspect of the game, amazing. So talking about the first part of the question was if tiredness played in the picture. Well, I don't think so because Milan rested quite a few players. Yes, but traveling to Serbia just few days before Milan derby is not the best thing. But yes, but that should not be an excuse because, like Parmeshwar pointed out, all the professionals, you had to play Champions League or you had to play Europa League. That's the duty of a top club. So, but nonetheless, what a performance! So happy with Conti. And Conti, I keep saying this always. I said it against Sassuolo. I said it against Lazio. Conti is playing to his strengths this time. He sits back, absorbs the pressure, and then Inter is a proper counter-attacking team. He did it same with Chelsea, and now we're doing it again. And with Milan's high line, Milan played with amazing high, super high line. And you know that we can take our chances. We have Hakimi, we have Lukaku, we have Lautaro, all Perisic, all of them very pacey. And Milan backline is quite slow with Romagnoli and Simeon Kerr, quite slow. It's always us to have the upper hand. And I told you always in this time matches, the early goal plays a really important thing. Once we get an early goal, we can sit back deep and then hit on counter. What a Conti masterclass! It's a pure Conti masterclass, and you could see that if Conti gets like step matches where White has a week to prepare. Inter's preparing up detail. It's amazing. Conti is one of the best in that. Conti can set up teams really well. So talking about Milan's things, yeah, always I think I was the only one said I'm not that worried about Milan. Milan were winning matches earlier. I think early part of the season they kept winning, but I just kept saying that one thing. Pioli, wherever he is going, you just see the history. He always starts well. He always performs really well, and then slowly that slump comes, the negative slump. I think now since 2021, fourth defeat in like 8 matches or something. So Milan are going to a slump right now. And the best part is Milan has all the players coming back from injury. They don't have any serious injuries apart from Benacer. Other than that, Ibra is back, Çalhanoğlu is back. They have pretty much the first two center back pairing. So Milan don't have any excuse saying that we had a weakened squad. So that's not an excuse. But saying that right now, if you ask me, Conti has the advantage ball in his court. But also knowing that Gotham, like Juventus could be very well out of Europe and saying that Milan also could be out of Europe. So all are playing again same level field. So it's not about like we have an upper hand and stuff, but definitely getting this 1 week rest and getting a full strength squad definitely helps Gotham. And right now we should be focused 1 week game, one game at a time. And that's best part of Conti's conference. He said already preparing for the next match. That was one of his statements which impressed me, Gotham.
Yeah, and this question is specifically to you because you hate Handan. I won't say hate Handanovic, but you think he's washed up and you think he should be replaced. But I mean, honestly speaking, like even to me, yesterday's performance, like it was his best performance, I think, in last 2 years. I mean, the saves he did was the reflexes, unbelievable, like Superman again. Like, what were your views on Handanovic just for yesterday's performance?
Yes, I'm sure saying that you might have seen the Theo Hernandez right-footed shot. I think everyone, all Inter fans, including Conti, was like heart skipped a beat where we pretty much thought that's going in. But luckily it didn't go in. So Handanovic lives another day. But saying that Handanovic, I'm not criticizing him for poor performance. I say Handanovic is age has caught him up and his reflexes are no more like he used to be. Like I would say 2 or 3 years back Handanovic reflexes are one of the best in the league. But right now, he's 36 years old. His uh, reflexes has been questionable over the season. But yes, what a performance. He had one of the best matches in an Inter shirt. Uh, Ibrahimovic sure to score a couple of goals. And I think the one which he jumped over Hakimi and headed it, I pretty much thought that's goal because the ball was coming towards him and he took the ball away. That
Yeah.
was a miraculous save. But yes, Handanovic, and not only Handanovic, I think the whole team impressed me really well. And yes, one of the best performances of Handanovic we have seen this season. But along with Handanovic, also give notable mentions to Eriksen and Perisic. They both also what a performance. I think we always seen the attack happen on the right side with Hakimi, Barella, and Lukaku. These three combining on the right side, all the goals pretty much. But now for a change, we're seeing the left side, Eriksen, Perisic, and Lautaro, all the three left-sided players combining. And you could see what a difference that made. Uh, uh, the team was unpredictable because now with Perisic has improved so much in that role. He's going in real promising positions, and the work rate from covering the whole field is amazing. Ashley Young wouldn't go into those advanced positions, saying that. And Ashley Young, whenever he gets the ball in those positions, he passes back to Bastoni. So now we see Perisic go in and gives killer balls. It's really good. So for me, Handanovic, Perisic, Eriksen, three of them had one of the best matches for the season, if you ask me, Gautam.
Yeah, I mean, that was brilliant. And having those three on form with Hakimi, Lukaku, and Barella always being on form is like the threat is there from every side now. Every angle you can score. And especially our second goal, with like 9 players were involved. I mean, Lautaro was
Yes.
the ninth guy to touch the ball and score. And even before that, Perisic could have scored, saved by Donnarumma. That was a brilliant shot, and Lautaro just guided. I mean, that could have been a goal as well. So, Parmeshwar, coming to you now, it's like, I mean, I used to be a defender back in the day when I used to play like local leagues. But for me, clean sheet is like amazing. Like you can score 5 goals, but if you keep a clean sheet, it's brilliant. And yesterday, even though we kept a clean sheet, there were a few moments wherein, like, if it is just the back three, they know what they're doing. But when Hakimi, Perisic, Brozovic get involved and are in the box, it seems like there's no communication at all, and they don't know whom they're covering, what they're doing. And there was chances for Milan when we were helter skelter in the box. I mean, how do you address that? Like, communication should be better. With the three of them, it's solid. But usually, when let's say in the 90th minute, a team really wants to attack us, and then you have like 6, 7 players in the box defending, and then it's not just the three people communicating. You have to be like 6 of them communicating to each other, knowing where they're playing and telling whom to cover. Like, do you think that's a weak point still in the team, wherein like once there are 5 people in the box, we panic and we think like, okay, someone else is going to clear and we lose our position.
I don't think it's a weak point per se, because the thing I would consider first and foremost is that Milan is Milan's quality in the first place, because Milan weren't the first team that have done this to us. Lazio had the exact same approach, but they couldn't pile on that sort of pressure like Milan did, because see, Milan, like, say whatever you want about them, but they were on a high. They have Ibrahimovic. They have Tonali was on his game for a bit, and then Çalhanoğlu stepped up, and these players have been on form, throughout the season. And maybe had Milan started Rafael Leao, they would have even been better off. I don't know why he didn't start, but I don't think it's an issue per se. The thing is, Conte has always said, the thing we do the best is defend collectively. Whatever we do, the approach we adopt on the pitch, it is as a team, it is done collectively. It's not like individuals. Conte doesn't believe in the concept of doing something individually. He doesn't like it in the first place as well. It's about the team. So I don't think it's like people defending collectively is a big problem. It's just that yesterday what I felt was that Milan was just a notch above in terms of what we have faced all along. Because you see, when I saw the few numbers post match, they had more shots on target than us, and that usually doesn't happen even if we sit back. Like, we had more shots on target than Lazio too, so it doesn't really happen. It was just a case of Milan's form, what you've been seeing all along. I don't think it's a big issue. And yes, if I had to say maybe why it was a problem, is because I think someone like a Bastoni had a small off day in my, like a slight off day in my opinion, because you could see, at times he's trying to play out of the back and it constantly hit Ibrahimovic or Rebic and it went back for a goal kick. So he wasn't really fully confident. So I think that played a role. I really don't think it's much of an issue. I think by this point the team knows how to defend, defend in numbers, defend back, close all the half spaces with Brozovic, because we all know Brozovic, can slide in anyhow and win the ball. He just wins it anyhow. And there's an impressive stat about him that he's been on his like fourth yellow card for like multiple game weeks now, and he could have very well gotten his fifth one before the Milan derby like 2 times, but he's not. And even in the Milan derby, he hasn't gotten one. Hakimi did, but again, I guess it's a relief of sort, because you don't want all your important players to get their fifth yellow card at once.
Yeah.
So Hakimi will miss the next game. But anyways, but coming back to the point, I don't think it's much of a worry. I think this is a good sign that the team could actually, even though there was a bit of helter skelter, there was a bit moment of frenzy. I think the team did a good job in keeping it away, keeping Milan away, and kudos to Handanovic. I mean, it's not that he had to worry about central shots. It was rather set piece or crosses. So he was sort of aware of what needs to be done. So yeah, I mean, it's not much of a worry in my opinion, at least.
Yeah. So defensively, you think we are solid? Like it's not that much to worry about. But as you said, if one of them has an off day or one of them gets, let's say, fifth yellow card or injured or suspended or whatever, then we don't have another centre back. I mean, I am still guessing Ranocchia is the best choice instead of Kolarov to come in. Manish, what do you think? Like, how do you think defensively? Like, if we lose someone to injury or suspension, who should like? Can we sustain this clean sheet if we have like one of them injured in the back three or one of them suspended in the back three?
So that's what Gotham. If you win the league, I think everyone's contribution is required. Every single player. It's not just 11 players. It's actually like 21 players. That's how you win the league. Saying that De Vrij's backup is Ranocchia, Skriniar's backup is D'Ambrosio, and Bastoni's backup is Kolarov. Unfortunately, that's if anybody misses, these are the ones who come in. So we don't have much more depth in that department. So saying that these three should continue, saying that we don't have much European commitments. We have like pretty much one game a week. Hopefully they remain fit. That's really important, because if you check the season turner, we were always scoring goals, but just when our defense started improving, that's where we started winning matches. Otherwise, we could always score goals. Like scores were like 5-4, 4-3. It was always like that. But ever since those three, the magical back three, Skriniar, De Vrij, and Bastoni came, we started winning matches. And that's where Handanovic also turned much more confident, yeah. But saying that, yes, there are chances during season where we might get some defenders to be suspended or some person get injured. We have to, unfortunately, use the players we have. So I don't see if Bastoni is off, Ranocchia playing that position. I don't think I've never seen that. I don't think that's going to happen. Pretty much Kolarov is going to start in that in that area. Also, if you check Juventus, when they started winning the title back in like a decade ago, was pretty much when the establishment of BBC, Berzagli, Bonucci, and Chiellini. That's the one they say the defense wins you titles. So our defense, as of now, is our strength. So yes, Gotham, they're really important as of now. As long as everyone's fit and none of them missing, I think we should comfortably be in the position we are in.
Yeah, and on the other end, like we have no problem at all. Like Lukaku and Lautaro on fire. Like initially during the season, I was a bit pissed off at Lautaro because he was missing easy goals. Like there's so many opportunities he was missing, but like you guys kept saying, like no, he puts in his work. Like goals will come, but I was still skeptical. Like we should have sold him when we had the chance. Like I mean, now the fate is restored back, and now he's just 3 goals behind Lukaku, I guess, 13 and 16 or 13 and 17.
13, 17, yes.
13,
13,
17, yeah. So they need just 12 more goals to become the most prolific striking duo for Inter. Like, Parmeshwar, how do you feel about it? Like, we had Icardi, and once he left, we thought, okay, will someone fill his shoes? Like, can the goals come at the same rate at which Icardi was scoring? And now it's not just one guy, it's two people up front who can score. Plus, you have Barella, plus, you have Hakimi, plus, you have now Perisic who is coming in. Like, how do you feel about the attacking threat now?
I mean, of course, it's better off. I mean, in terms, especially in terms of the dynamism we have in the team, because I remember back in the day when we had Icardi. I mean, I don't like the guy anymore, but of course, I have to give him credit for what he's done. But yeah, coming back to the point, whenever we had Icardi, our play was pretty much one-dimensional because Icardi is a striker who's more of a poacher in the box, and his gameplay is not the best outside of it. That's what Lukaku brings us, right? Because and you can clearly see the overall output with Lukaku. Playing outside the box, has increased goal scoring numbers for others in general. You've seen Hakimi score now. You've seen Barella score to your point. So I mean, overall, I think in terms of how efficient we have been, like in terms of the numbers going up, it's clearly evident. I don't think we miss Icardi anymore. You can always say on paper, oh, we should have had Icardi instead of Lautaro Martinez, but I don't think so because people need to remember, yes, Lautaro misses some really absurd chances, but he's still very young. We need to remember that. Like he's not like 28, 29, like a matured striker. He has those brain fade moments, and this is a part of growth. And Conte has said it like n number of times. He is still growing, and I think yesterday with the way he played and the match against Lazio too, that really showed to me that he can do even better. Like I mean, that at least affirmed my faith in him. Like I never gave up on him. I never subscribed to the fact that he should have been sold to Barcelona. But yeah, that just affirmed my faith in him. And if I just had to point out a stat to second that, a few stats to second our goal scoring and Lautaro Lukaku's combination in general. So now we have scored like 57 goals in opening 23 match days, and that's the most we Inter had only most in 1949-50 and 50-51 season. So that just says a lot about how much we have grown under Conte. Then for Lukaku, prior to Lukaku's like now the only player who's scored in 4 consecutive derbies since Benito Lorenzi since 1950. So again, these are just stats that go to add to the point. And Lautaro and Lukaku now have combined for 6 goals in the season, and that's better than any other duo in the league. So two more better than two more duos in the league. So what else can you say? I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Like I really don't think we miss Icardi at all. Like I mean, I don't want to take away from what he contributed on the pitch, but to people that say, "Oh, we should have probably had Icardi and let Lautaro go for that money," I really don't think it makes sense because Icardi is sort of a striker. If you see our strikers, Lautaro and Lukaku both do things outside the box. They both press.
Yeah.
Icardi does neither of that. Even at PSG, even if he's doing fine at the moment, he doesn't really offer the kind of game that Conte wants. And I think with Conte, each and every player needs that level of commitment and discipline, both on the pitch in terms of what they do and off the pitch in terms of their life. So I don't think Icardi would have really worked out here under Conte. And yeah, I mean, just to add to that stat I pointed out, the next best scoring duo Gotham is actually Luis Muriel and Duvan Zapata at 23 goals, and Lukaku Lautaro are at 30. So that says a lot. And then after that, it's Ronaldo Chiesa at 21. That's just in Serie A, and in all of Europe, top 5 leagues at least. We Lukaku Lautaro are second at 30, behind Lewandowski, Mueller at
Yeah.
36. But I mean, they are on another level, so you can understand. But behind Lukaku Lautaro is Mbappe and Moise Kean at 26, and Kane and Son at 26 as well. So that says a lot. Just coming to the point, it just says a lot. And sorry, just to point out, there's one more stat. Actually, this is very specific to Lautaro. He becomes like the second youngest non-Italian player of all time to score more than once in the Derby della Madonnina. So I mean, again, like I don't think Icardi ever did that. Like
Hmm.
he because he was there for a long time as well, right? He was there when he was young too. So I mean, it's just these small things, in my opinion, at least, that go a long way in shaping or let's say telling us how important Lautaro Martinez actually is currently to the system. Yeah.
Yeah, Manish,
So
coming to
to
you.
add,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
no,
just want
no.
to add that Lukaku and Lautaro partnership. I would say like I always bring this nostalgic moments back. Like we had one point Vieri and Ronaldo, the dream pair. I think after that we had Adriano Martins, and now after so long, now we have a super front two. That's Lautaro and Lukaku. What a player! Like Lukaku has been on fire. I think with this current run he's in, I won't be surprised if he does well for Belgium with this tournament Euros. He could actually also win the Golden Ball. So the way he's carrying Inter forward, I won't be surprised. Sorry,
No,
Gautam,
funny.
cut you off.
Yeah,
What's
no,
that?
no, no. Yeah, I was going to ask you the same question about the pairings.
Yeah.
But yesterday, the commentator said if Belgium do well in the Euros,
Yes.
Lukaku
Yes.
might actually win the Ballon d'Or. Do you think that's a bit exaggerated claim?
Not at all. Actually, you know what? If Inter wins the title, and Belgium are one of the favorites, Belgium have one of the strongest national team squads. Everyone from De Bruyne, they have Mertens, they have Hazard. All the Hazard is now pretty much out of form, but technically the strong is quite superior. So if Lukaku also drags his form to the national team, and if they could win something or reach the semis or final, and I'm sure Lukaku will be one of the main contenders because Ronaldo hasn't been that great. Messi has now been great. Obviously, there's Lewandowski who's leading the charts, but on the national level, I don't think he can achieve much. So Lukaku, if he achieves at the club stage for Inter and for Belgium, why not? And the way he's on fire, I think is form of his life, Lukaku. And right now, I think pretty much everyone agrees he's one of the top five strikers. I think we had this chat at the beginning of the season. All of us were quite skeptical. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's too early to say. But the way he has carried the team forward, and talking about the third goal, the technique, the power, the speed, I'm just saying, which other striker? We talked about the one called Mauro Icardi. You could never see that. You know, the commitment. He would never track back. He would just stand in the position. He was a pure classic target man. Take nothing away from that guy. That is a pure target man. Like I think Juventus had David Trezeguet back in the day. He would pretty much stand in the box and just head in or do a volley kick. So those type of players are out now. Pretty much, Lukaku is a complete striker you could ask for. He can head. He has speed. He has sheer power uh, whatnot. So
Yeah,
Gotham, it's not an exaggerated statement. It's actually could be possible. And
yeah.
what I'm worried is if that happens, then we might actually lose him, because PSG or Man City will just break the bank and sign him.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think Inter has been so good for Lukaku as well because every other team, like, they're using him as a target man. But here, like, he runs in from the midfield. Like, he always kept saying, like, that's my strength. You give me the ball, I'll run at the defender and I can score. None of the coaches did that to him. Like, they told him, like, no, stay in the box. And Conte, like, believed in him. And, like, even if you see Lautaro, like, both of them, they run from the midfield, they run at the defenders, make space, get the other players in, and then they score. So that's brilliant. So, Parmeshwar, I think you were I, with me saying that, okay, the commentator exaggerated a bit. You don't think Lukaku would win the Ballon d'Or unless of course Belgium win the Euros. But if they don't,
So, so my thing is not about doubting Lukaku's ability. My thing is not more to do with that. But I think the thing is the comment. In my opinion, the commentator jumped the gun too soon. Like, of course, if he wins the Euros and the Scudetto, there is a chance, and of course, I want him to win it. I want the best for Lukaku, obviously, but I think you have to put things into perspective because let's say because you have the Champions League going on, then you have teams like Bayern Munich, you have players like Lewandowski, you never know, right? They could still do it as well. And it's not that Lukaku doesn't deserve it. What I just feel is that when the commentator said that, it's just piling unnecessary pressure onto Lukaku. I mean, not that Lukaku, is listening to that right now and, oh, thinking I have that pressure. It's not that, but, it creates like a perception in people's minds that, people tend to think that Lukaku is the one who's claiming all this, whereas he's not. He doesn't even know about it. It's like the commentator making, these claims. That's my issue with it. Not the fact that Lukaku can't win the Ballon d'Or if he actually does well. But I think I don't. My thing is that maybe the Scudetto itself isn't enough. Even with the Euros, maybe had it been the Coppa Italia as well, plus the Scudetto, plus the Euros, and or even if he ends as the top scorer at the Euros, it is possible. It's just my issue isn't that he doesn't deserve it. I'll just repeat myself, is the fact that these commentators make claims so early on, and then it's like piling. It just basically affects the image of that particular player, right? So that's my issue with it, nothing else. Like I would love to see him win the Ballon d'Or, but I mean there are just at the same time there are so many players out there who could actually outdo him as well. So that's
yeah,
my
but
take on it.
then again, you never know because Schneider was robbed in 2010 when he
Yeah,
won the
exactly.
treble and he reached the finals
Exactly.
of the World Cup.
So exactly. So that's the thing, right? If back then Schneider and everyone didn't get it when they deserved it. So if even if Lukaku deserves it, do we
Yeah,
actually like even if he ends up in that position where he deserves it, will he actually get it? That's the question. They
I mean, yeah,
probably say that he only.
It's a popularity
they'll probably
contest at the end of the day.
yeah, they'll
No, but
probably say that he. Yeah, sorry, Manish.
God, no, I beg to differ from Parmeshwar because if you check right now in the league, Italian league, Lukaku is the best player in the league. We have Ronaldo's shine is slightly worn off, and we don't have much for the best player in the league. Lukaku, hands down, is the best player of the Italian league. I would say that right now. It's not about exaggeration. I'm sure he might have an off day, but generally the way he's carrying team forward, it's not just scoring goals. The way he contributes, the way he holds up play, the way he brings everybody in, and considering his age and considering all the abilities he has, I think Lukaku can go all the way. That's what. Obviously, Mbappe and Haaland are the new young emerging talents. But if Lukaku has to win it, and right now is the best form of his life, Gautam.
Yeah, and sticking with you, Manish, for like now we have such a complete squad. I mean, with just a few pieces here and there missing. Like if we somehow steal Theo Hernandez from Milan and get him into Inter, I mean, he belongs in a top team. So, and after that, do you think like the current owner situation would come into play? Because there has been rumors, there has been talks of Sunning wanting to sell. So do you think that would affect the transfer window as well?
So Gotham, after all, we are called Padza Inter for a reason, yeah. So something has to get screwed up. If the team plays well, everyone plays the best football. Inter's top of the league by 4 points, but there has to be something Padza about Inter. And right now, that's the talking point. Right now, it's the owner situation. Yes, that is actually quite concerning because if you take the finance director, I think just had 2 days back he gave in this interview, and he told that the situation is actually quite serious, and we have struggling with the salaries. The salaries are quite high for Inter. So as of now, hopefully, I think Conti should shield the team. Conti and Marotta should shield the team, and it's not let one of the owners get affected, the owner situation. But actually, Gotham, if you ask me, situation is really concerning because Barcelona in a similar situation, and Barcelona it's blown out of proportion and everything. It's a chaotic situation out there. I hope we don't get to that stage, and
Yeah.
Sunil can solve this whole scenario soon.
Yeah, Parmeshwar, coming to you, like similar question. Now that, as Manish said, the team is performing on the pitch, everything is going well on the pitch. Off the pitch, now there are instances, and we have been lucky, like to have an owner like Sunning who actually care about the club and come to the matches. They want the best for the club, and losing them now when we are actually building on a project, that would be devastating for us. Like, do you think they should stick on? Like, I mean, the players, the staff should be like, it's okay, fine, we'll all write this together.
Um, I mean, I couldn't agree more with you when you say that Suning have done a great job. There is no doubt about it. And to Manish's point, the management, Conte's staff have done a great job in keeping the team focused overall, Gotham, because this could have easily derailed us long ago. If you go back to the previous Inter, this would have derailed us and ruined our season way before than it actually has happened. And so kudos to Conte and everyone. But I think we've gotten to a point where even the fact that the fact that Suning are already looking for investors, the need to actually look for investors, even for your normal capital to actually run the club. The fact that they, as per reports, need at least 200 million, I don't think it's inspiring per se. It affects everything, your daily operations at the club, salaries. We are deferring salaries month on a 2 monthly basis. Then it affects the mercato, of course. And I mean, as I love Suning's sporting project. That's not the issue. Their sporting vision is amazing. There's no doubt about that. We all know it. There's intermedia house. There's everything. Their vision, everything is perfect. But the problem is, I think it's not what I think. It's a fact that they're running out of means to support the club. I don't know if you saw this before the Milan derby, where there was this interview of Zhang Jindong going around where he said that we'll cut ties with all non-strategic alliance,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing investment. So it pretty much says that they are looking to surrender, and if I don't know if they still deem Inter as a strategic alliance because they did want to grow their retail business via Inter in Europe, but I don't think it's that feasible to the point anymore. I mean, as Manish pointed out, the financial director Tim Williams, who's actually already resigned, but he's completing his last few months at Inter. He said that basically Suning still want to hold on; they're doing their best, but he agreed that they are actually looking for investors as well. be it minority, majority. He didn't confirm that, but he said that they are looking for something, looking for partners in Asia. So I don't know what is going. No one knows what's going to happen. It's a tricky situation, but all we know is that Inter needs capital soon for at least daily normal functioning of the club. As Marotta said, it's not like a club issue. It's more of the this thing shareholder issue, which is suiting priority
Yeah.
primarily. So that is the issue, and we can't wait too long, Gotham, to address this, because as soon as the season ends, there have to be bonuses that have to be paid to the player. If we win the Scudetto, there's going to be bonuses to be paid out. There's going to be salaries. Then you have to plan for the future, because players like Ashley Young won't stay. Players like Kolarov are mostly gone. Vidal will probably stay for another season. That's it. So then you have to replace them, and then Conte, if he doesn't get his replacement, what is going to happen? So you need to consider all this. So in as much as I love Suning Gotham and I appreciate what they've done, I think they really need to start considering other investors bid seriously. Like, they should not put it off. If, like, let's say BC Partners bids like a 750 million and not a 900 million. I mean, I know Suning wants their own profit, but from my basic understanding of finances, and if they want to really save the club in that sense, they should just go on and accept it, because I know their sporting vision is amazing and second to none probably, but I think it's time to bid a farewell to Suning at this point, because it's a bit unsustainable. Yeah.
So looks like Sunning is going to be like the management Mourinho. Like they'll it was a happy story with them. We win stuff. Hopefully we win stuff this year. And then he says, okay, bye, good night. Thank you. And then they leave and back to square one again. Manish, what do you think?
Yes, situation is quite scary. Like you said, back in after you won the Champions League, won the treble season, everything started to fall apart. But hopefully not. I think not just Inter. I think a lot of clubs around the world are at this point. The main thing is the ticket revenue is not coming much. That is was major income for a lot of clubs. So it's not just that Inter is suffering. A lot of other teams. Why we are suffering more is because Zhang cannot put his personal funds. They cannot invest as per the new rule in China. So that's why we are one of the most affected. But generally, if you check the whole scenario, the whole footballing world, everyone's going huge losses, including clubs like Juventus, AC Milan, and a lot of other teams. So, but hopefully on the bright side, like Parmeshwar pointed out, there's BC Partners. There's also one of the big Abu Dhabi investment group called Mubadala. If they can take over, nothing like it. We can see Inter to go next level, like Man City. So yes, that has Gotham, like you said, the footballing world, not just the footballing world, the whole economy in general is taken two steps behind. So until this Corona situation gets sorted out and fans start coming into the stadium, we might see this as a very common news from now on.
Okay, so before we cap it off, let's just get to the player ratings. Manish, coming to you first. The keeper, Handanovic, what do you rate him?
And then she did a couple of Superman saves. So for that, I would go a rating of 8.5. Samir Handanovic, one of his best performances of the season. Yes, I have been critical of him at times, but where credit is due, I give him credit. 8.5, that's my score for Handanovic.
Parmeshwar, the defense, Bastoni, Divrai, and Skriniar.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad to be capping it off with the ratings, because I think we had a lot of talk about the ownership. So let's end on a good note to begin with, because we still should enjoy the derby win. But yeah, coming to the point, I think Bastoni, as I said, had a bit of an off day. He was messing up a bit of his passes. So 7 for Bastoni, but Skriniar, Devre were on point. They marked Ibrahimovic out of it. They won aerial duels and everything. So 9 for both of them. And yeah, I guess midfield is something you can look at, Gotham, and the wing backs.
Yeah, so for Hakimi, I would give 7. I think he didn't have that great a game, but he was still effective. Perisic, I think I would give him a 9.5 or 9 at least, because he was instrumental. Assist, he had a chance which Lautaro could have scored again. So he was very confident going forward, tracked back, did a good thing. So I would give him a 9. Manish,
Just to add Gotham,
yeah.
sorry, to Perisic, I think it was definitely his best game in under Conte, at least at Inter, and he actually had 2 assists. The second Lukaku's goal was actually his clearance, which Lukaku took all the way. So that's 2 assists, and as you said, Gotham, you captured it up very well. Amazing understanding of both phases. I think Manish also said it a while ago. Like, it was just phenomenal, and I think for that reason, for me at least, he deserves to be man of the match. I would give him a 10, but I agree, like 9.5 is also pretty good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially coming to see how far he has come from the start of the season, where he didn't want that position at all. Even Conte was like, we need to find a replacement. But now, like, I think he's nailed his position over there. And Manish, coming to you, the midfield, Barella, Brozovic, and Eriksson.
Yes, the midfield was good. I wouldn't say very good because at times I think Milan dominated the midfield. So I would go for Barella at 7.5. I would go Brozovic 8 and Ericsson I would go 8.5. That was my rating. Saying that Perisic, like you guys pointed out, Perisic had one of the best games in the left wing back. And like I pointed out, attacking us from the attacking phase on the left side of the pitch, that was what we were missing the whole season. But right now with Ericsson, Perisic and Lautaro on the left side, it's really good. And Ericsson also had one of his best games on an Inter shirt. He really played well, passing, doing the right passes, defensive faces, his position, and he played up to the 80th minute. And to credit, I think first time, I have the longest time, I think we all saw Ericsson give a smile when he got substituted off. So that was a very good moment, to finish off the derby with an Ericsson smile.
Yeah, I mean, as Eriksson, especially like the pass which he gave to Perisic, the second goal, like when he
Yeah.
was low on confidence, he would have taken a shot at goal. But now that he's so calm, he's composed, and he knew what is going to happen. Like he saw the players running and gave that beautiful pass. So Parmeshwar, the forwards, Lukaku, Lautaro, like our future
Yeah.
prolific duo.
Yeah, so just to cap it off with Ericsson, Gotham, quickly. Ericsson, I mean, to Manish's point, I just want to add that Ericsson started excellently in my opinion, and then there was a moment where in the second half he was being outrun by Çalhanoğlu when he was struggling a bit. But as you said about Ericsson, the old Ericsson would have usually shot that chance before for the second goal. In my opinion, the old Ericsson would have also crumbled. I think in like not crumbled, but would have succumbed to the pressure, of Çalhanoğlu and Milan overwhelming the midfield. But he actually showed the right resolve to bounce back. I thought, Conte would sub him off for Vidal or something, but Ericsson actually bounced back so well. So that was good to see. But to your point, coming to the forwards, I mean, Lukaku, what do I say? I mean, we all saw it. He did everything. The first goal, the beautiful cross, the second goal, the hold up play, shifting out wide, shielding the ball, passing it to Hakimi. And the third goal, what can you say about it? Like, he just drops back as yet again he dribbles from his own half, just from his own half, just capitalizes on Perisic's long ball. Yes, Kessier didn't press him enough, but still, that in that stage of the match, late in that latter part of the match, it's not easy to take that run from all the way from your own half, beating like three players on that one side. Although yes, Romagnoli could have done better maybe, but still he was like forced onto the left and he took that curling shot, perfect bottom left corner, which we all know how good Donnarumma is. So just perfect for Lukaku. What do I give him? I'll give him like a 9.5 because I feel I don't want to do like injustice to Perisic and Handanovic, because they really did well. So I'll give Lukaku 9.5. Lautaro, amazing game for him too. I mean, I don't know if the Lazio game was better for him or the Milan derby. I think he did better in the Lazio match just because of his off the ball movements and pressing. But it was fantastic. It has to be 9.5 for Lautaro too. I think they were too good, Lukaku, Lautaro. Yeah, nothing to add. And Gotham, yeah, I mean, so we've rated the teams, but how would you and Manish, like Manish, I think, because I think Gotham, you said the midfield. What would you give Antonio Conte as a coach for like for this match? How would you rate him?
I would rate Conti a 9.5. Like I said, Conti does really well if he has a week to prepare. And
Mm.
he prepared this team, like I said, a well-drilled machine where everybody knew exactly what to do. It was pretty much like a military movement, when they were attacking Hakimi on one side, Perisic, Lautaro coming. It was like to perfection. And I think this mastermind is Conti. He loves this type of matches. And with that, I give 9.5 my rating,
Yeah.
which is
And
one of the best, actually.
Gotham, what do you think about the overall rating for the team? What would you give it?
Team, I would say 9. I would have given a 10 if he had scored 2 more goals. I mean, we should have scored 2 more goals, but 9 is, I think, after the first leg in the league when we lost 2-1 to bounce back 3-0, especially when there's pressure on both teams. I mean, this match was about who will crumble, who won't. It's a technically a title decider, even though there's a long way to go. But top two playing, It was like who will show the maturity, who will stay calm, who will stay composed, who will stick to the game plan. Conte masterclass. I would give him a 10, and team I would say 9 because he missed a few chances which we could have scored,
Yeah.
but otherwise like complete domination of Milan, and we showed Milan is always black and blue.
Yeah.
What about your Gotham? Who's your man of the match?
Yeah.
Parmeshwar's man of the match was Perisic. What's your man
Perisic,
of the
yeah.
match?
It's
Who's there?
Perisic for me.
Mine, I think I would give, I'd say
Handanovic.
Handanovic. Yeah, I'd say Handanovic because
Yeah.
we could have
Yeah, sorry,
crumbled.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we could have
exactly.
crumbled where during that point wherein like as soon as the second half started, Milan were on top. They bombarded us, and if it wasn't for his saves, we could have gone down, or they could have equalized. Anything could have happened. I mean, our morale could have been down, but then his saves like showed the team like, okay, fine, nothing's gonna pass Handanovic today. Let's go attack.
Yeah,
For
I'll
me, I
just add.
think.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
No, sorry, Manish. Just wanted to add quickly that
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to. I'll just change my man of the match because I'm like finding it really hard to pick now Perisic as the sole man of the match. It has to be men
Oh, you
of the
didn't hear
match, and
my
I
man of
think
the match yet.
yeah, I'll have to go for men of the match, and I can't overlook Handanovic to Gotham's point. I mean, the way he's bouncing back, even though it's only a few games, like if it was not for his saves, we would have probably lost the derby. So let's be real. So I think it's going to be two players, men of the match, Perisic, Handanovic, 10 out of 10. Yeah. Sorry, Manish, you can go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
and for me, the man of the match, for me, according to me, is Lukaku. Although Lautaro scored 2 goals, but Lukaku, all the 3 goals, the combining everything, he started it up. Oh yes, obviously the team plays involved, but first within 4 minutes, he gave a gem of a cross to Lautaro, which Lautaro pretty much misses, then he scores. But for him to score means how good was that cross? That was when the second goal also he held the ball. He was under pressure back at goal. He released Hakimi. And for the third one, what to say? This I think back in the years where I saw is Adriano against Udinese. He had one of this amazing run. But what a goal! The third goal was like that's why you love football, to see moments like this. I think for all the years we suffered, and right now seeing Interplay, Lukaku for me is definitely the man of the match. Uh, take nothing from the whole team. Yes, you said so I would go second. I would go for Perisic, and third I would go for Eriksen. For me, the man of the match order. But Lukaku for me wins the man of the match.
All right, folks. So that was another episode of Solo Inter podcast, and what a great weekend it was. Top of the table, 4 point lead, and let's take it easy, and we'll see you soon. And oh yeah, before we cap it off, do follow us on our other podcast. We'll put the link in the description. You can hear us, download it, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next week. All right.